Hello, this is the Real TomTom. Welcome to Race 9, the Austrian Grand Prix. What used to be the A1 ring is now the Red Bull ring, I believe. This was kind of a funny one. It's broken into about 3 parts of this video. The first, fairly short. What happened was we started the race. As you can see, I was 14 out of 16. Starting with how badly I did here. That wasn't so bad. Okay, it wasn't so much. Where does it come up? Yeah, it's this corner. Sorry, it's coming up here. Because of the ghosting that happened and getting a little bit worried about this guy going off the track, coming on the track, I forget to brake. Luckily, it ghosts me out and I go through. Now, as it turns out, it wasn't the end of the world, because later on in the race, you'll see lots of people get disconnects from the server. They get kicked out. Some people were able to rejoin, some people weren't, so we quit and start again. So what you're seeing here is the first race that we started to run that gets abandoned. So this is still race 1, last place in 15th, and this is where you'll notice that everyone starts to disconnect. So everyone starts leaving the session, so we do restart. When we do the restart, what happens is quite bizarre. Everyone has different tyre wear already. One guy starts with a puncture, and you'll see the results of that as it kicks off. But yeah, so essentially the race restarts. This is the second time of trying it. Luckily, because I'd only just gone to this sort of set of tyres, my tyre wear was fine, but some people who had really pushed tyres and had maybe started on red, it just absolutely kicks off. I tried to avoid people left, right. I should have stopped, but it was, again, not knowing where to go, and I half expected it to ghost out because of how they'd crashed, but no. So I get front wing damage, but everyone essentially leaves, so we start for a third time. We had to reset the entire lobby. Luckily, we're keeping the points elsewhere. So, this is the Real TomTom. This is the Austrian Grand Prix. Thank you very much for watching this video. And here we go for the proper race. We re-qualify. Again, I think I'm about 15th out of 16. Yeah, there we go. So, I was 1 place down on my previous qualifying time. But 15th, 14th, what's the difference really? And this time, I am very careful. Having done it before, I am going to be very careful not to take anyone out. I do not want to cause an incident. I see people going off. I slow. I try and get out of the way. Kind of squeezed in the middle there, but I did my best not to take anyone out. And again, I didn't. No one takes me out, which is always a bonus as well. And I think it was just being cautious, because again, people are pushing very hard, because obviously there are people there that can actually do the overtakes and get a reasonable time. I mean, when we were qualifying, I got a thing of 1:13, 1:14, and was relatively pleased with that. I do actually get a 1:12 during this race as it goes on, but everyone else is lapping in the 1:07s, sort of consistently the 1:09s, and I think someone even got some faster than that. So for me, it's like I know that I'm about 3-4 seconds a lap down on the better drivers. It's trying to avoid it, hoping people will quit, but again, unlike the places that I've scored points so far this season, the walls are not quite as tight. Just their perfect example, a bit more forgiving, give a bit more space to go across. One of my bits you'll see coming up is there's that section where you come off one corner, go towards the right, and there's the grass. When you touch that grass, it gets a little bit hairy. I was lucky again not to lose wing or get a puncture, and that's coming up in a moment though. So at the moment I am on lap 2, P13, which I've kind of done again, avoidance therapy. Just did my best to keep out of the way of the others, and I do pretty well. I get up to, like I say, get up to 13th and keep going. I also think that in a minute I get a little bit nervous of being where I am, not expecting to be there with other drivers still driving, and it's that kind of, you overcompensate your driving, you worry about it, and you then scupper your own race by trying to not be aggressive. This is the corner I was talking about, where just if you sort of touch the grass, you don't quite have it. Not wanting to again get in the way of the faster car, even though it's not a blue flag yet. It's again just trying to keep out of the way, but then slowing yourself down, where actually you're on the racing line. They should be the ones adjusting to you. Again, I don't want to force people off track. I don't want to sort of push too hard, but it is just a question of striking that balance. I think, like I say, the fact that I know that in a couple of laps' time they would have overtaken me. I don't particularly want to scupper their race, despite at the moment still racing for position. But let me know in the comments what you think. Should I be more aggressive than I am? Whereabouts could I improve on the track? There are times where I think I'm pushing as hard as I can, and I think the car's being sort of pulled out to the side, and yet other people can take the corners faster. It's at what point of those brake boards do you brake? How much do you listen to that red line? Again, some of the people who are racing this and are getting the 107s, 108s have exactly the same setup as I have, automatic gears. They have the racing line on, but they are still just able to really hit their apexes and not. Here's where I was talking about going off the grass and almost collecting myself into the wall. Luckily I didn't, but it does just make you kind of sit back and go, okay, I need to be a bit more cautious and make sure I get through this. Yeah, so let me know in the comments where I could improve on this track. Maybe let me know in the comments for the next race that would be in the season. What could I do to improve? Where can I find my time? So lap 5 now. Still in P14 out of 16, not doing too badly. At the moment I am not last, which is always a bonus. Coming out of the pits, people have gone in. I obviously started on the soft tyres, so I've got a bit more tyre wear out of them. They come out. I am now on P12, coming up to P11 because of obviously pitting, and here I outbrake myself. I go a little bit too aggressive. That one there is why I try not to go aggressive, because there with Fernando, he obviously knew what I was going to. He could see what was going to happen. He could see the gap he'd left open, and I couldn't stop it in time. I went straight on. I wasn't trying to sort of damage Fernando, and he just took the corner. And again, as you see now, he starts to drive off into the distance without any real problem because he's on a new set of tyres. But that was kind of as aggressive as I get, and it doesn't always work out. Someone quits, and I am now P9 of 15. This is pretty good going for me, but the safety car comes out. Should I have changed my tyre strategy? With it being lap 8, I decided to change the strategy, go on the super softs, which I'm not sure is the best thing I should have done. Again, we do 4 laps I think under the safety car. My tyre wear, as you can see there, is about 30% at the front, 20 at the back. So the safety car's about to come in. I've changed to super soft, and I'm already at 11 and 7% tyre wear, turning it back up to rich mix, and you'll see in a minute how close it can get. Now in 13th, obviously because of that pit stop. It gets very close up to the back of Shinner there, and again it happens again in a minute where people are backing up, people overtake, they have to give the place back. It's all a bit of a backing the pack up a little bit aggressively, I think, from the front. So again, the nerves set in. I think it's always like Ghost. I'm not quite sure what's going on. So I am currently in P13, but I have much faster drivers who have now been into the pit, will be able to manage their race better than I do, coming up on me. I'm not going to be able to get fast enough to catch to the main pack. So let's jump to lap 16, where I'm now in P13. The tyre wear has been fairly harsh, so 48% on the fronts, 34 on the backs. Now let me know again in the comments what you think of setups. Obviously I don't go through the setup for this, but maybe I'll do a setup video for some of the next races if I can. What do you suggest for race pace? As you know, I'm not a qualifier. I'm never going to be setting this up to be the fastest, but my tyre wear is always exceptionally hard. What would you do to counteract that? I do quite like a car to be very responsive on the turn in. So I like I think it's oversteer. So when I'm turning, I'm going heavily into the corner, and it gets me around quickly. I think some of the setups I've used though do hamper tyre wear in that respect. So it's, as you can see, 52% by lap 17. So coming in again in a lap or two to see what is going to be the best thing. And I think again I go to softs. This was for me actually a fairly non-eventful race. I don't encounter too many people. I get obviously lapped and blue flagged. I think I've cut that out, but again, in the other video that is up in one of the other playlists, you've got the full race that you can watch, no commentary. I've tried something slightly different for this video. This is obviously going very wide there. In a minute what I'll do is speed up the footage rather than cut it out. Let me know which you prefer. Would you rather to sort of see the whole race with me commentating but speeding up sort of the non-eventful bits but you can still see it? Or would you like to see, just like I do, kind of jumping between the laps? Let me know in the comments if you have any preference to how you'd like it presented, what you'd like to see. I get a virtual safety car. I hate sticking to these deltas. As you can see here, right, so I'm now 0.2 seconds of a delta, trying to not go too fast, not go too slow, and then suddenly I'm about 2 seconds behind the delta. It's knowing where to set the pace, knowing what to do with it and how best to approach it. Again, if you've got any tips on how to keep to the best delta, where to push, where not to push, what way you can try and stick to the timing, I think it's probably going to be just practice. But any comments, any tips, I will gratefully receive, because I would like to be competitive in this. I would like to not essentially be last the whole time. I think I end up last in this, and spoiler alert, I think it's through bad pit strategy. Again, I'm still not sort of too hot on that. So at the moment, 61%, 43 at the back. It's a virtual safety car, although it is now ending. So into the pits to change my tyres. I think the guy behind me as well, one of the Ferraris, yeah, you can see in the rear wing there, the mirrors, doing exactly the same as me, which is to come in. I think he's actually serving a drive-through, which is why he overtakes me. When I come in, yeah, you can see that he now goes past. So he was serving a drive-through penalty, putting me down to 15th, essentially last place, as I think Bartel retired, which is why we got one of the safety cars. Excuse me. So, as I said, Austria has a nasty pit exit, especially where it gives you control back early, and you have to accelerate up to it and make the corner. I think a few people did their wings leaving the pits. So, I am now on soft tyres again, but still a fair chunk of the race to go, so I'm going to need to make another pit stop, and it's then working out which strategy to take. I think in a minute I've pressed the wrong buttons. I'm not hearing the commentary from the race engineer, but I think they suggest that I go to the soft tyres again, the yellow, rather than the super soft or the ultra soft. So here we come in. Blue flags. I'm cut out a fairly large proportion of the race there, 25 laps down, 50% wear on the front, 35 at the back. I'm guessing the ballast probably doesn't help me, having it fairly near the front to make it quicker braking. I think the ballast at the front for me wears my tyres quicker. So I've gone now back to the softs, forgetting that although in the setup of this it gives you, say, like 3 sets for the race, because we're on a 50% strategy, not on the whole race, you only get 1 set. So what's going to happen is I come out and I am on 40%, yeah, or 30% tyre wear. Again, now that I'm last, getting blue flagged, it's not much that I can do to really do anything for the race. So I decide, going through this, that I probably won't make it to the end on this set, so I'm going to need to make another pit stop anyway. So I'm going to go to the ultra softs and see if I can make them last and go a little bit faster. I think I do that at the end of this lap. So it's 41 seconds down on P14. again, whatever I do is essentially irrelevant by this point. My race had already been scuppered by something I'd done. Getting out of the way for everyone, letting them through. And it's about now, yeah, there you go. You can see me changing to my next tyre as the sort of the purple rim tyre to just see if I can get anything out of this, not knowing when the other guys are going to have to pit, how that's going to work for them. I'm not going to be competitive on these, especially as they're not new tyres. They may have seen me to the end, but it wasn't really going to be worth the risk of staying there where I could actually get some lap time. But it does mean that I've done it essentially in 2 laps. 2 pit stops. Unsurprisingly, come out P15. There's no one behind me. I am 48 seconds behind P14, who in turn is 28 seconds behind P13. So I think I get lapped down by most people. Maybe not by 13th and 14th, but as you can see, it's by the end of the race fairly close. So here we go again. I'm on the ultra soft tyres, and I do get the best lap of my race coming up. So obviously not going to be this one because this is an out lap, but the lap after is going to be my best of the race. At the moment my best lap is a 1:14, which was where I was kind of getting in practice anyway. I did get a P13, I think, or maybe even P12 for qualifying the first time round we did the race, not so much the second, because obviously we've been playing for 15-20 minutes. So this is now coming up to start what I seem to remember is my fastest lap of the race, unless I get a blue flag again, and then it's the lap after. So here we go. What surprised me actually was how much wear you get on the ultra softs. As you can see, after doing, so yes, it's not this lap, I don't think, because of the blue flag, but you can see that the ultra soft tyres already I'm down to 11% on the fronts, which is actually quite a lot for having only been out 1 lap and being essentially new tyres. Because of letting the pole leader through, I get DRS. Not that makes much difference. And please excuse me, I'm drinking a cup of tea. He obviously can outdrive me on every corner. I think there's part of me when I get blue flagged that thinks that I can keep up with them. I see what they're doing, see where they're going, trying to follow them, and it'll be like, I can overtake you and I can unlap myself. And again, I think, as I've said in some of my other sort of videos, it's consistency is key, and I am not that consistent. I guess I'm relatively consistently slow, but I'm not consistent enough on all of the corners to make up a good lap every single time round. So that lap there was a 1:14.7. I'm now being offered a new strategy by the team, which I do essentially ignore. I make the decision now that I'm not going to get to the full 36 laps anyway, so I'm just going to burn through these tyres and see where I end up by the end and see what happens. 53 seconds down on P14. I've got 0.5 laps. I'm only just over, so I changed down to, I think, standard mix fuel, which is why I do overfuel the car, which again, please in the comments let me know, should I do that? Is that not what I need to do? So I was just about getting back to sort of standard fuel, so go to standard mix, maybe even to lean, but I'm pushing relatively hard. I'm half a second down at that split there, you can see, on my best time. And I think at this point, it's because you haven't got anything to lose. There's no stakes to the race anymore. You're the back marker, just driving as best you can. It's trying my best to push some of the corners where I wouldn't have done before. And there you go, I got a 1:12.6, I think that says. So yeah, so my best lap for the race was a 1:12.6, and speeded up again going around this track. I make a few more errors, I get some more blue flags, letting everyone through as best I can. Taking advice that I've taken from some of the forum comments so far, which is don't necessarily give way on the corner unless you make a mistake like I did there. But when it comes to it, don't just move out of the way. You kind of stick to your line in the corners and make the room on the straights. So I am being a bit more selfish into the corners when I'm getting blue flagged, just so I don't really screw myself over too much. But at the same point, depending on the kind of corner, if I know I can leave them the room to get the racing line but make the corner fine, then I will. But yeah, it's being a little bit more selfish with driving. As you can see now, the tyre wear with 3 laps to go, although that won't happen, is 55 and 40%. So they are pretty shot after the, I don't know, 6 laps, 7 laps that I've been on with them. Another mistake there, and some more blue flags. Part of that, I think, is down to the tyre wear. Part of that is, again, trying to be avoiding the other traffic, and part of it is just being a bad driver on really worn tyres. So this is the last lap I think I get to complete. So I'm down to 67% on the tyres. And it's then getting it back. So there you go, AJ Day has won the race. Congratulations, mate. Good drive. And here I come, nursing it home with very worn ultra soft tyres, just about enough fuel to make it past, and a 1:18 on that last lap. I've left this in today, so Wixie crosses the line. I've left this one in as a race incident, where someone is really pushing at the end to do the best they can. So here we go, this is the last part of the video. Coming up to the last corner, it's 13th and 12th, and he gets a little bit aggressive. I don't know what happened to 12th. By the fact that he's not in the wall, I think he made it around the corner without any problem, and the fact that he stays in 13th there. But again, it was quite heavy driving. But again, I can't really complain having watched what I did at the very beginning. Here we go, all the incidents, and today you will notice I have no incidents, luckily, that we, in one respect, started again. So I have no incidents. I was a clean drive, finished though, as always, about last place and didn't get points this race. So thank you very much for watching this particular video. If you like what you see, if you have any suggestions, rate, subscribe, comment, and please let me know what you think, good and bad. And I will see you next time for the next race 10 of this multiplayer championship. Again, check out the video game forums, VG forums, and I'll put all the descriptions and links to their YouTube channel and all the rest at the end, as you can see on screen, probably about now. So thanks very much, please subscribe, and I will see you next time.